between the Department of Student Life is where those original receipts would go. And we're not looking for original receipts, we're just looking for copies, just to reiterate that. But you know, they don't necessarily know what we gave the money for, and we don't know necessarily what they're spending it on when you give those receipts to them. So what I can try to do is come up with and revise the system where there's a little bit more connection between those two entities, student government and the Department of Student Life. The larger issue is, again, as a funding block in this university, you know, we are accountable and as an organization responsible for where that money goes, and we have to understand what's going with it. You know, we're not going to take those individual receipts and start passing around the university or anything like that. I mean, obviously, we will respect your privacy, but at the end of the day, we need to ensure the money is being spent correctly. Otherwise, there are potential issues with the fair allocation of the funds. Dr. Myers had her hand up. I think she might have something important to share.
Yes, because I got to run to 4 o'clock meetings. Hi guys, I know you. Part of the challenge here again, we can say we have a disruption between student government. Unfortunately, I was out on a knee replacement this summer. This student government is the first one in 10 years I've been here that did not meet with me prior to coming into office, in particular the treasurer. Now, the remiss of that is because Cleveland State's a pretty big bureaucracy when it comes to paperwork. Student org stuff is with me. So when every system has its own system, travel, etc. A lot of the things that they're expressing are the concerns about the redundancy of paperwork and receipts, etc., because they are official university documents. There's also information that should not be in the hands of students, and it comes to credit card, a lot of identity stuff. So that was probably the gap that we have, so I didn't explain to you guys kind of how the bureaucracy works here and how student government fits into student life, fits into student organizations, underestimating that I am the one that meets with all the student organizations to give them the information that they need. Unfortunately, because I didn't meet with student government, I couldn't really go over the packet extensively because I could give you preliminaries up to $3,000, $1,000 off campus. Having said that, the $1,000 off campus, the way it's processed technically has always been for travel, not money going for anything else, because if we look at it from that perspective, most money we spend is off campus. T-shirts, food, that's off campus. So you gotta be careful how we state things because it creates confusion. We also have a large cross-cultural population here, which makes it very challenging in trying to communicate to them when things are literal. So we have to be careful what we put in words. But a lot of it, like I said, this is a good forum for you guys to speak. Hopefully you can meet a happy medium. Yes, unfortunately I've been getting a lot of the complaints. I do pass them on, I have passed them on. I shared with them the advisor, the treasurer, the dean. It's just coming to this point right now, obviously in the seminar. The finance committee in the past always had outside representatives. I'm not sure if we still have outside representative seats, but hopefully we do. But part of the challenge is, there's not a me, guys, this is all we. And we have to work together. The accountability, we keep talking about accountability. This system, students cannot get money without coming through the system. It's all accountable. Student government has their piece of funding, the X amount of thousands of dollars they have to go to student organizations, that gives you that. When we get into receipts and looking at that, part of what has come to me this year, which is very confusing because we put this in place, they're coming with documents. I handle your budget. I'm looking at what's in your budget. The greatest challenge is this is student development. If you make an organization's decision, then they can't make it. And part of what is coming to me are organizations coming with this stuff, talking, well, I can only spend this. And trust me, whenever there's an anomaly in the system, it triggers paperwork that you have to explain. Well, why are you only paying this person this amount? And the one lady was saying, well, we got to put $20 from this, but we need a contract for $180, and I was just totally confused. But she's working with whatever document you put out. It says you can only spend this, you can only spend this, you can only spend this. So part of the challenge is the understanding it, and again, you're asking for clarity. It's kind of dated now, but we have to get it on one accord because it's very confusing. And they're coming, why do we got to give receipts to you? Why do we got to give receipts to him? If we're working together as a unit, that was as simple as a conversation. We could have talked. It's not a problem. Steve works right next door to me. He can get any receipt he needs. He can get any copy of the documents because they're official. So yes, we do have to tighten up, but don't put the burden on the student who's already taxed. What I'm hearing from them most of the time is that it took me 2 weeks, it took me 2 days, 3 days, and then they told me that I had to come back. Once we worked about 5 years to get budgets in place. We had budgets in place, and they found out for the first time after putting together the packet this year that they could not request a budget for the year. That has been more problematic because we have groups that get that money and do fundraising to get to their conference down here in the spring. I asked the engineering student, I said, well, did you talk to the treasurer? He says, I didn't know what to say. I said, well, you gotta tell them, because they're not aware that they start their planning here in August for a trip in March or April. So some of the stuff just kind of came in, and unfortunately, we're here now, so hopefully you will take them into consideration and kind of find a happy medium of how it can be better for everyone. Maybe not so much paperwork, but the paperwork that you need for accountability pieces, receipts and stuff, that's something we always have on records. There's a whole bunch of books that have everything from every student organization if you want to know what they're doing. When it comes to how they spend their money, that was as simple as, if we're lining up with missions, what is it you want to know? If I know, they can't get money without coming through this system. So that's just a matter of communication, and it should be better.
Okay, so let me address, we're going to have to wrap up now, because for those who aren't aware, we're going to be immediately transitioning with about a 10-minute break into the third funding hearing for the year. So I want to address a couple of things that Dr. Myers said that I think are important to distinguish. The definition of off-campus and on-campus. Any event held on campus is an on-campus event. Any event that's off-campus is an off-campus. If you're doing an event in the atrium, but you're going to buy t-shirts to give away there, it's on-campus spending. It's as simple as that. As far as the receipts, university documents, and we've been trying to heavily promote this, is very important. You can use petty cash, small order, all that stuff. And like I said, one of the things that we're going to do in trying to alleviate the burden on the students is I will work with our advisor, Steve List, and we'll work with Dr. Myers. Maybe there's a way, and I won't make any promises, but I think that we can find a way to do it, it sounds as though there is, where we can work with the Department of Student Life and save you guys the hassle of having to do that. But I don't want to make any promises until we've thoroughly done our due diligence to research how that process would work. And lastly, I know that it's a concern for a lot of organizations who have traditionally requested and received funding for the year. But at the same time, I know that for those of you who are more seasoned, established organizations, you get in the first 2 hearings, you get your maximum amount, you get what you want. There's I sat on the Student Life Committee last year that approves the constitutions. There's a lot of organizations throughout the year who are coming in and reactivating and becoming new for the first time. We have to have something in place to ensure funding for each and every one of them. We ran out at both ends of the semesters last year. We ran out of money, and a lot of organizations couldn't get funded, and it was unfair to them. So there's no one system that can appease everybody, but at the end of the day, we've got to come up with something that can help the majority. Those that don't get aided exactly the way they want to, you merely have to come and speak with student government and the finance committee, and we'll find a way to make it work. I know there's a lot more questions, and I apologize, we're already 5 minutes past, so I'm going to wrap up here. What I will say is this: in the upcoming weeks, student government is going to try to put together maybe some weekly meetings to help organizations understand and learn the process and fill out packets better. And in addition to that, maybe we'll try to get a committee together where all of you who wish to participate, right, can come and meet with us directly, and we can work together as a cohesive unit to come up with something that's more palatable for everybody. So I thank each and every one of you for attending, and before we go, I just want to let Speaker Alvatar make a small address.
Yes, I would like to speak independently with anyone who would like to know how to get on the agenda and how to, what are the rules for it, and if anyone wants to talk really about the last meeting and how things proceeded, I would love to talk with you guys independently. I'll be outside here in the room. I don't bite, I promise, so I'll be outside.
On behalf of the Student Government Association, I really want to thank you guys again for coming out. And I just want to say that ultimately the communication doesn't stop, doesn't have to be relegated to these forums. You guys can come and talk to us anytime. We're literally in the office all the time. So thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
I got more questions now.